All right, what I got here is a last to first challenge. 5 laps on the Nurburgring. Let's see. Do have tire wear and fuel usage on, but it's only on 1, so it doesn't really play much of a role inside this race. Not enough difference to make that much of a different deal here. So yeah, this is against obviously CPU players. It is very hard to get 20 people on a race like this live, and yeah. But I do have one goal, kind of going with the while I smash him into the rear end, and that is to try to run this as clean as possible, as if I was running against actual human players. So even though I did bump him, I'm trying to keep it all nice and clean as possible. I did not run it inside this view. I kind of have it inside this one because it gives a little bit more of a view around the car currently. Got a little bit off there, but kept it going straight without spinning out, so that was good. Yeah, just a little bit of let up on that corner and you can go around, no brakes needed. Yeah, some reason these bottom cars, it's very easy to just take off and pass them up like that. It's at a drag race, it's like they're only running at 80% throttle or something. So yeah, could go around that corner faster, but I'm stuck behind a guy. A little bit of a bump there. A little bit more, but managed to make it without just shoving him right off. So could have been a little bit cleaner, but not the worst. Not the worst, that's for sure. And here we are chasing down the next guy. As this here is a little bit of a tricky set of corners to learn. Once you learn it, though, it's not hard to do. It's just a matter of learning it. But until you learn it, that is a very tricky spot to work with. It's just the way everything looks. It looks like you can go through there a lot faster than what you really can't. So there's a little bit of a bump there. Yeah, not quite shifting, a little distracted by everything else that was going on, and forgot to shift a few times. So trying to get an edge up on him, but wasn't able to. Ended up just bumping him there. And got one rear wheel off and ended up kicking me sideways, but we got it recovered, and here we go. Chasing them back down again. They tend to brake a little bit earlier than what I would normally, so you got to watch that with these CPU cars, as you can see. Like there, just pushed them right on through accidentally, and then you got to really watch them. They'll just cut right out in front of you and everything else. So drop back a few spots, and now I got to run those down and catch them back up again. And so it looks like I might be gaining a little bit on them. Just kind of chasing them down here. Giving a little bit of an interesting view. And it looks like we are caught back up again. So got past the one, and now we're just trying to chase down. Is this a Ferrari, I think? And there we are past him, outbraked him. That was a pretty good run around that corner, I think. Not too bad. One of my better ones. Yeah, so close. Whole time, you know, kind of cringing. Oh, I'm coming in too fast. I think I'm gonna hit him, and it was perfect. So I don't know why that guy went around the outside of the carousel there, but gave us the edge and allowed us to get up past him. So now we got a battle between Mustangs here, and I go and mess it up. Just pushing a little bit too hard there, probably. You got to make sure you keep everything nice and smooth, but you also can't run it too soft behind these guys, or you'll never get past them. And that first place guy is really taking off and getting out there. Look at that. Nice, beautiful pass. Oops, a little bit of a bump there, but not too much to mess up anybody's race, so not too much to really worry about. Got a little bit of off-road, but managed to keep everything collected and together. I don't know if I mentioned, I do have the penalties turned on, but it never does pass anything out, so I don't know if it's a glitch inside the game where it's just not doing it right inside a custom race. Or if maybe I just ran the race what it thought was clean enough. So yeah, when you're not stuck behind somebody, a lot of times you can just run that flat out right there, outbrake them, and lunge up through for a pass. So switch over to this. Now we're done battling them out. So now we're going to have a little bit here, just trying to catch up to the next group of guys, which is, it's going to take a while. I believe it's going to take a while with these. It doesn't look like they're too far ahead. You can definitely see them up there. You definitely tell them just kind of floating in between the packs here. There's definitely two very distinct packs separated here and just stuck between the two. Not close enough to catch anybody's slipstream up ahead, unfortunately. I think I'm far enough out ahead of them, though, that they can't get to mine. Almost lost it there. Managed to recover it, get it back on pavement before it was time to start hitting the brakes, and we are good to go. If we wouldn't have got it back on the pavement before it was time to hit the brakes, would have lost out big time. But got it back on pavement, and we made it good. So it looked like whatever that car is there managed to catch up a little bit to us. A little bit blurry, I can't quite catch what it is. Mercedes, I think. And there we are, putting some separation between the one that's behind us that caught up a little bit and catching up to this next one now. Looks like he got separated from the rest of them, so it'll just be a little single person pass here. And very quickly catching up to him. This is the camera I normally race in when I'm racing. I would love to do the cockpit, but I find that Gran Turismo puts you way too far back inside the cockpit, and it just kind of separates you from the race and makes it hard for you to judge distances and see where everything's at. Other racing games, I definitely do the cockpit, but for here, I kind of settle for the hood camera, means it seems to be the blend between the two. It actually has the field of view of most other racing games cameras. So just kind of running here by ourselves, and we are putting in best sectors. So that should mean that we are catching up to them, at least. I can't tell it on the menu over there, but we are catching up to them. Another good run through there, and another best sector. Yeah, that corner there's a little bit tricky because you got to slow down a little bit, but you want to keep a lot of speed. You just can't keep too much, or you won't make it around. I am using a racing wheel, force feedback racing wheel with this. Yeah, that was a little bit close. Definitely, I think I just took that way too hot. But another best sector. Yeah, that also might point to the fact that I am pushing it pretty hard, trying to get caught up to these guys. And it probably shows a little bit, making small little bitty mistakes that if I just kind of focus a little bit more on yeah, a good smooth race, they'd probably do a little better. And another best sector. It is taking a while to catch up to these guys. And unfortunately, there's not a lot to really say about this portion. You just gun the gas and follow the corners. I probably could take that a little bit faster, but I find this to be a little bit more conservative on it. Even if you go around a little bit slower, it's better than overshooting it. There's another spot. It is better to be a little bit more conservative than overshoot it. Went in a little bit too fast, but was able to keep it on the pavement, so it wasn't too bad. When you do it that way, it's not bad, but it's very easy to overshoot that and just go straight into the barrier. And as you can see, I'm just pushing it way too hard, going deep into the corners here. That carousel there, I think I lost a little bit of time on it, if I remember right. But still got the best sector. As I mean, see how you're so blind when racing in here. Like the pillars are all in the way. Most other games would kind of put you more up where you didn't see so much of the roof, and you just had just the basic view of the HUD, and then most of it would be, you know, full of window. But for whatever reason, I kind of get where Gran Turismo is going, where they're trying to put you back where you would, you know, actually sit and actually feel like you're sitting, but it being you can only do this game inside on a single screen, as it's PS4 and not PC. It's just way too far back. If you had a wraparound monitor system, it wouldn't be too bad. And yeah, I'm just pushing it way too hard here. You're gonna see with this immediately, you know, you have a lot more view. So I gotta try catching back up to that guy after that little run off into the dirt now. So the other one's he's there, but we're getting some separation. Yeah, we're definitely pulling away. Yeah, I hit that curb and it just kind of threw me off a little bit. You want to get close to it, but you don't want to nick it like that. If you nick it like that, it will definitely kill you. So I'm just trying to go to whatever side he's not. I still got best sector even with those those mess ups there like that. And for whatever reason, they'll kind of just drive down the center, and so you can just take one side or the other, and usually they won't be able to pick up on your slipstream. Might consider it a little bit of a hack or something, I don't know, but yeah, again, another best sector. And I do find it's a lot easier to put in really good sector times or even lap times whenever you're separated from the other cars. So just 3 more to go. Almost cut it in a little bit too sharp. Had to do a little bit of correction there. That was my best lap time, but it doesn't look like it was the best lap overall out of everybody, interestingly enough. So I must have had a sector somewhere there that I didn't get the best in of, or somebody put in a better lap time the previous lap or something. And here we are catching up quickly. So I'm starting to adjust how I go into the corners to make sure I don't come up on them too quickly and just ram right into them. You know, try to keep it clean in that. So right up on his tail and couldn't quite find a way around. Tried going to the left and that closed off, so then I had to go to the right. And there we are, we're up past him. And as you can see, we're very quickly separating from him. And so now there's only 2 more to go. I do find that these cars a little bit higher up are actually a little bit better. As far as the, being on professional, it isn't too bad. Sometimes I wish that with the higher settings, or maybe they would have like an expert setting or something where it would take and just put a whole field of these really good, lap timed cars where they're all putting in really good laps like these top guys are. But they don't, unfortunately. So you see him strangling a little bit to completely separate. I think I'm far enough ahead he can't catch any slipstream, but I'm having trouble just completely getting away from him. It's almost like he's caught up a little bit to me. So the AI is definitely passing each other, just kind of watching the leader, or rankings over there to the side, and you can tell that there is changes inside him. That E Lambert there inside 5th was further back, and he is definitely pushing his way up. So they do have a few other cars that start further back that are a little better, that have to kind of fight their way up as well. Makes it unique, I guess. And there, I got my separation from him. Dipped 2 wheels off, but I'm able to get it back on before I have to start hitting the brakes again. So, just an okay sector, not amazing. As you can tell, they're actually keeping pace decently with me. And we're definitely struggling to get caught up to the top 2. You can just hear him go by the camera there. So we're getting there. Kind of a little trick for this track if you're having trouble with it. Well, first start out with a lot slower cars, like maybe N200 or N300, and run it like that. It's a little bit slower, so it's easier to kind of, you know, do a mental recall and try to pull up, well, you know, what's next, and gives you a little more chance to learn the track. And then once you can, you know, run it consistent inside the slower cars, then go ahead and, you know, step it up to maybe an N4 or 500. And then from there, you know, you can start throwing inside that Group 4 cars, Group 3 cars, and all that, and running. I didn't see. Was that me that pushed him out wide or not? Yeah, before I learned that section, I found it to be a big pain, and now it's kind of a little bit fun. You know, once you learn a track like this, I find it to be very, very enjoyable. Get right to this part where you just give it gas and let it run. Maybe back off the throttle a little bit on a few of these corners, but for the most part, you can run it almost flat out. There's some of them that, you know, it would show you needing to slow down, but you don't have to. That is one you do. You got to slow down a little bit here to make it around there and to get yourself set up for the next corner. So now we're just trying to chase down the leader, and even though I got as close to the front as quick as possible, he still did get a little bit of a run away from us. So, but there he is. You can kind of see him just up ahead. The unfortunate thing is just kind of separated where you can't take advantage of any slipstream here, and they are really losing out by not taking advantage of any slipstream. You tell that, I think that's a blue Lamborghini did, and it's definitely gaining some. And somehow I still put in a good sector there. Yeah, coming into here is a little bit tricky. You kind of got to go between braking and gassing a little, just a little bit. When you go around the, you know, each little set of corners, and then, you know, braking it really hard in that. But you cannot brake hard going through the corners themselves. So there is first place. In what looks to be a Porsche. Yeah, that's what it looks like it is. Another thing amazing about this camera is it just makes it look like you're going through all these corners so much faster than what you feel like you are when you're actually racing. They did a really good job at making this camera mode. So put it inside my perspective as I'm catching up to him here. So I caught up really quickly all of a sudden. They slowed down a little bit through there, but now I'm struggling to get caught up. And kind of always just kind of think of the Porsche as a really good turning car, but not as a good speed car. A little bit of a bump there. He braked and way more than what I did and normally do. Yeah, you're always thinking of it as a little bit of a cornering car, and I seem to be taking the corners a little bit faster than it. I don't know if that's something to do with the computer system itself, But he seems to be losing me on the straights a little bit. It's a little bit of a unique run, because normally you think of the Mustang being more of a drag car, you know, drag race, and not so much cornering. So I don't know if it's just the way that we're handling. Another bump. He slowed down a lot more than what I did. Again, these are just real light taps, so not too bad, not too worried about it. It wasn't like I took advantage of him and passed him based on him there, so. Switch around sides. Yeah, he was able to get a run up on me, but just switch over to the other side and take the inside. And then kind of defend the corner a little bit. And there we are, starting to get separated from him. So I think when I started actually chasing him down himself, there was about a 20-second difference between us. So it took every bit of almost a good lap to catch up that 20 seconds or so. So he's just out of slipstream range. Well, almost went through there a little bit too fast, but managed to keep it all together. Come on, there we go, better camera. So now that I'm past him, again, you know, I didn't have too much trouble catching up to him, but now that I'm past him, I seem to have trouble losing him. So it's weird. I don't know if they're like overlaying my inputs onto his car or something. He seems to be taking a slightly different line, but it's like, you know, when the CPU wants to run good, it can. Like, I wish, you know, kind of get it kicked into this mode a little bit more, but I'm having to really make sure I keep everything together, because one little mistake and he'd be right past me inside an instant. Went a little bit deep, but I'll make it work. So out of all that, I mean, I just find this to be weird that I was able to gain on him, you know, 20 seconds within like one lap, and now, you know, it seems like I'm having trouble getting away from him, you know, losing him. My personal best sector, but not the best sector of the race. Someone else has put in a better sector there. So I pretty much was able to get up past him within 4 laps. Another my best sector, but not best sector of the race. I don't know. I'm assuming it's the Moeller there, that's inside second, that put in that time better than me, but I don't know when, because I was catching up to him the entire race, it seems like. But, you know, now's the time whenever I'm having trouble actually losing him, which I'm finally starting to get some separation from him. But really having to push it hard through here. think I had a pretty good run onto the straight there. Not too bad. So, my best sector, but again, not the best sector of... Not the best time of that sector out of everybody. That's where I'm just wondering, you know, where whoever it was that got those times is at. And how they got them. And you can see, like, very quickly, he caught up to me on the straight. And now he's starting to... He kind of ran out of momentum. And he's right on my tail. And I run it wide. Get back onto the track out of the grass just in time again to really start putting down the brakes and just slow down enough for this corner. Well, okay, I guess not enough for the corner. So a little bit of cutting back in front of him there from off the grass, and third and fourth are right up here into the middle of the fray too, and we're on the final lap. Actually, you can see all the cars are seemingly starting to catch up now, so I'm wondering if maybe it was one of them that was putting in better sectors. One of those cars back there. That would be something interesting to see with the way this is running, you know. Because again, that was my best lap time. It was my best, not the best of the race, my best. And yet, you know, I passed the guy who was in first inside that lap. But he was still right on my tail. And being my best, and it still wasn't the best of the race. It's just a little bit unique. Did manage to get the best time inside the sector there. I don't know if somebody else was able to overtake it after I went through there. But up into that point, that was the best time through that sector. And yet, it doesn't look like I have got away from them at all. Pretty good through that corner there. I got another best sector into that lap, or best sector there. Not, yeah. So this is starting to turn into almost like it's like a two-way fight for second there, but it's not far behind me. So I'm definitely having to really struggle to keep it up here. Another best sector. And it looks like the Megane has gotten up in front of the Porsche. He must have been the one that put in the better lap time, the Megane there, as being he was able to catch up and actually pass the Porsche. And that must be why I don't have the best lap time of the race. Still got the best sector there. With the way he is kind of catching up to me, though, I am suspecting that he is taking away all my best sectors. And again, this is weird because I've already went through and passed him, passed everybody else through here, and yet I'm finding it very difficult to actually get a separation from him and get out ahead. And you see, he almost gets a nudge up on me, and for a second, he actually does, makes a pass and get up past me. So now I got to fight it back. Run slightly wide, able to keep it back on, and now just trying to tuck into that slipstream and take advantage of it. You see, I got my best sector there, but I have a feeling he got the best sector of so far of the race. And that Porsche really not still too far behind. Still fighting right there behind us. I will say though that during the race, being both the cars, the backs of them were yellow, I didn't actually realize that it was two separate cars. I didn't realize that I passed up the first place Moeller, and then that the guy who passed me back was Blake, and so I was a little confused because I thought that whenever I was fighting to get ahead of Muller that he was driving a Porsche, and then I get up past him, and then it was like this Megane passed me up, and it was a little bit confusing when I was actually into the race. I thought, well, I didn't think I was that bad at cars to, you know, mess up between a Porsche and Megane, but it ended up being that I was right, that there actually was a switch between the two. I really was fighting a Porsche at the beginning and then a Megane there towards the end. And we run a little bit wide. I'm feeling the pressure of them being right on my tail, even though I am putting in my best lap times, and that I passed all of them up, and yet they are still able to keep right up on my tail like this. I don't know if the game was having them run a little bit slower towards the beginning because I was so far back, and then once you get up inside first, it kind of increases their driving ability a little bit. Or what. I will say though that it does give it a little bit of enjoyability. It makes it a little bit more realistic, like you're actually racing against human players with it's like this aspect here, making it very close. You know, you wouldn't just be able to pull away inside Group 4 cars like it looked like I was going to be able to because of the way I caught up. But it definitely puts you on your toes, and that makes for an interesting race. You couldn't really tell it there, but yeah, you do hit the brakes just a little bit when going down that little bitty hill, so you can make it around that corner. That is a pretty sweet camera view right there. Yeah, and at this point I'm like, what in the world? Why can I not get away from this car? Like, you know, here I was 20 seconds behind the leader. I caught up within a lap, passed him up, and now, you know, second place is right on my tail for this entire lap, even at one point passing me up, and I can just not shake him. And, you know, kind of mess with your head a little bit, like, why in the world can I not get away? Again, kind of riding over on that one side because they run right down the middle, and so not able to take advantage of my slipstream. And the idea is hopefully I can keep it ahead just enough for the end of the race. And so far keeping it there, but he is right on my tail. This littlest mistake and that would be it. So I have to go through here good and fast, otherwise he'll pass me, but I also have to hit all the braking points so I don't run right off into the walls. And by this point I knew I do have it in the bag though, and there we go. There's the checkered flag. So yeah, it was a nice, really fun race. Even though it wasn't against human players, I actually found it to be pretty entertaining. Sometimes the CPU on Gran Turismo Sport can be a pretty interesting race against. It does seem though like it decided to kick up into a lot more difficult there at the end, but there we are. So thanks for watching and have a wonderful day.